Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Anuj Jindal. Welcome to RBI 247 session. Tell me is everything is fine with the audio and the video so that we can start with the session. Till then, good evening everyone. Good evening Pratima. Good evening Abhishek. Good evening Sapphire. Good evening Sonika. Good evening Jayant. Good evening Aditya. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for confirming. Let's begin with our session. Okay. Good evening Nikita. Okay. So we have four uh, news with us. Okay. The first news is RBI and NCFE's financial literacy initiative. So basically, both have collaborated in order to introduce some financial literacy initiatives. We are going to learn what all are the initiatives that are being included, or we can say introduced by these two organizations in collaborations. So news would be regarding that. Then we have second news, which is related to RBI statement on the Induslnd Bank. Obviously, you all were requesting me that please include the case of Induslnd Bank in your session. So I have included that, and we are going to understand what is the problem with the bank and what is RBI statement on the same. Okay. Then we have one news related to digital payment growth for last, we can say 5 or 4 years. So we are going to learn the data. The data is going to be very important from the exam point of view. Phase 1 और phase 2 दोनों के लिए ही बहुत important है. Again, yearly data है, 5 years का data है इकट्ठे. We are going to discuss. So it is going to be very important. Then we have one last news related to the Moody's report on the Indian banking system. So the Moody, which is a rating agency, has predicted or estimated some facts related to the Indian banking system. So that is going to be very important. Again, we are going to see what are the trends in the Indian banking system and how the things are going on in the Indian banking system again. Okay, so let's begin with the first, we can say news, wherein news says that recently RBI and National Center for Financial Education launched financial literacy campaigns under which project? Under National Strategy for Financial Education. Now there are three terminologies, that is RBI, then NCFE, and then there is NSFE. Okay, first we will read about, we know what is RBI. RBI is a regulatory body of the Indian banking system. If we talk about the NCFE, it is a non-profit organization. It is a non-profit organization that solely works for promoting financial literacy, promoting financial literacy in the economy. I've included all the information in our next slide as well. So basically this organization was set up in 2013 by various regulatory bodies. There are four regulatory bodies that introduced such, we can say, organization: RBI, SEBI and IRDAI. So the agenda was to promote the financial literacy across different kind of societies and across different regions of the economy. And the agenda was to introduce education programs so that the individuals and businessmen get to know about the basics of the financial knowledge, and they can also make their decisions based on the informed decision, based on the data and not on the speculation or hopes. So we are going to target students in this. Senior citizens are the main target, and the business owners are the same, again, a target. So agenda is to reduce the number of frauds and make the people more and more aware of how the frauds are being happening in the digital economy. The vision and the mission of this organization is very important for the exam point of view. इससे यहाँ पर कोई भी आपको factual question आ सकता है, right? So the what is the vision of this organization is to make people financially aware and make India empowered in terms of digital transaction, and to allow them to be financially literate and financially included as well. Can somebody tell me what is the difference between a financial inclusion and financial literacy? Very basic question. Can somebody tell me what is the difference between a financial inclusion and financial literacy? Quickly tell me what is the difference between the two terminologies, that is financial inclusion and financial literacy. Very basic question. It can be asked in your descriptive question as well. You must know these basic questions. अब RBI क्या करते हैं? That in the examination they pick up very basic terminology and they ask you about that. And this can be a very interesting question for your interview as well. So, what do you think? A basic definition. Okay. So basically financial inclusion and financial literacy are complementary in nature. Without financial inclusion, one cannot be financially, we can say all people cannot be financially literate. And without financial literacy, we cannot say that we are including, or we can say financially people are all people are financially inclusive. तो basically अगर हम terminology के हिसाब से जाएं, financial inclusion is all about to make the basic financial services, basic banking services accessible to all of the people of the economy in an affordable way, right? First thing is this. Second thing is financial literacy is a education to make people educate, or we can say literate, in terms of how they can manage their funds. Now that ability and that capability of managing their funds in a right way, we call it as financial literacy, and these both terminologies goes hand in hand, and that is the reason both are complementary in nature. Both are important for the economy, right? So we are going to empower our India to be financially aware, financially educated, financially literate, and make them financially inclusive as well. So what is the vision of this, we can say, organization? The vision is to conduct financial education campaigns for the people so that they can manage their money effectively. Now this is managing your money effectively is a part of your financial literacy. Now we are making them enough skillful to manage their funds so that they can make decisions of investing their money in some kind of goods or some kind of assets, right? Then access the suitable financial products. Now this is a part of financial inclusion. And ensure consumer protection and grievance redressal. So we are also promoting that lesser frauds are happening in the digitalized payment ecosystem. Now the second, or we can say the third terminology that we were discussing is NSFE. अब ये जो चीज है, it is a 5-year plan. It is a 5-year plan that is being introduced by RBI for the year 2020 to 2025. All the plans are stated in this PDF that is being uploaded in the website of NCFE. Now this 5-year plan laid down all the plans, or we can say initiatives, that RBI and NCFE are planning to do in these 5 years, right? Now this plan, this is a nationwide plan, national level plan. That means all the targets, all the plans that are written in here are going to be achieved nationwide. So it is a national level plan. It was introduced in 2013, and this is the second number of plan that has been introduced by such organization. First plan was again 5-year plan from 2013 to 2018. This was the first plan for these 5 years of tenure. Now the second plan has been, we can say, come to an end. If I talk about this, we have already discussed about the same in our one of our session named as Financial Literacy Week. ठीक है, तो उसमें भी हमने इसके बारे में डिस्कशन किया था. उसमें हमने अपना 5-year plan का एक क्विक लुक देखा था, that what they are planning to do. So based on the regions, based on the number of types of targeted people, says a student, senior citizens, business owners, self-help group, all such kind of we can say societies, or we can say group of people were targeted in such plan. So this is the national level plan. It is promoting financial literacy in order to make people help to make a informed financial decision whenever they are managing their money. So this is the second plan of 2020-2025. What is the objective? Objective is to encourage the financial planning and make people responsible for managing their money effectively. We want to make them financially literate by providing all the knowledge related to financial in terms of rural areas and underserved areas. So we are going to look at all the areas, whether it is an urban area, whether it is an underserved area, whether it is a rural area. So we are also promoting financial products like insurance, pension. These are the basic things that one person should know, and so that they can manage their funds and they can manage their risk as well. Reduce the financial frauds by spreading the awareness. So they are trying to promote more and more awareness among the people so that they do not fall in such kind of fraud schemes. So what are the key highlights of such campaigns? So both of them introduce some campaigns in this we can say plan. And what are these plans, or we can say what are these initiatives that are being introduced by both of them? So we are going to read few initiatives. Now you can highlight such initiative in your descriptive answer as well. Okay, so whenever there is a question named, just suppose that there is a question says, what do you mean by financial literacy, and what is the difference between a financial literacy and financial inclusion? Highlight some of the initiatives that are being introduced by the RBI in order to promote financial literacy in the economy. Now, if this question came, you can simply differentiate the both terminology and you can state all such, we can say, initiatives that are written in here in your answer. So this is going to be very helpful for you. So the first initiative is Financial Literacy Centers initiatives. Now these are the initiatives that are being promoted by the lead banks. Now what are lead banks? Lead banks are the banks that are being designated by the RBI. So suppose करेंगे example लेंगे एक हम. Suppose RBI designated SBI as a lead bank of Uttar Pradesh. So for this particular region, they have designated one bank as lead bank. Now this bank will take care of the financial literacy in this particular region. This bank will also collaborate with other banks like HDFC, PNB, in order to achieve such initiative or in order to achieve this target of financial literacy. So basically they are going to open the financial literacy centers. Now what these centers do is, these centers we can say introduce all kind of awareness campaigns. They make nukkad natak for the same, so that the people are more and more aware regarding the financial literacy. They are well aware of the frauds that are happening in the market, and all such things are being conducted by the FLCs. Now the second is RBI Kehta Hai campaign. We all know about it. We can hear in our phone calls as well. We can hear the same RBI Kehta Hai advertisements in our TV and radio as well. So this is a very important and we can say very famous initiative that was introduced by the RBI. So the agenda was to promote the financial literacy and spread awareness regarding the safe banking and preventing people from frauds that are happening in the ecosystem. Mass media financial awareness, that this is much more likely to be like this RBI Kehta Hai campaign. Again, the agenda is to make people more and more financial literate through our mass media, that is through TV, radio, newspaper, digital platform. We are going to share some of the content to the people so that they get financially aware of what is happening in the market, how should we make a safe payment. All such things are being included in under such initiative. Then there is FAME booklet named as Financial Awareness Messages. So basically this is a booklet that was released by the RBI. In this booklet, all the basic terminologies, what do you mean by savings, what do you mean by investment, what do you mean by expenditure, how to make a budget, all such basic terminology related to finance are being included in this. So anybody can use this booklet. This is useful for the students, this is useful for the businesses, this is useful for the women, senior citizen, all such are the targeted, we can say, people through which they are providing such financial literacy. Then there is financial literacy program in Northeast India. Now this Northeast India is basically a hilly area, so there is a very less we can say the financial inclusion is very less in that particular area because of the internet and connectivity issue, and the financial inclusion and financial literacy in that particular area is very less. And to promote more and more financial inclusion and financial literacy in that particular region, they have introduced 54 financial literacy program in this particular region. which is again a good initiative by the RBI and by this organization to make people more and more aware of the banking and the grievance redressal frauds, and especially in the rural areas that are there in the northeast India. Right? I hope the initiatives are clear. They are very simple. Then there is one more initiative named as Financial Education Program by NCFE. Again, this organization, and CFL. Now, what is this CFL? CFL is Center for Financial Literacy. For financial literacy. Now, this is a center that was introduced by RBI. Now, this center collaborate with many kind of organizations such as NGOs. They collaborate with regulators, different kind of regulators. They collaborate with banks in order to promote what? In order to promote the financial literacy and financial awareness in a particular region. So they also introduce what? Financial education programs. So this education, through this education, they are making people more and more aware regarding the how to make their payments safe, saving investments, and all such thing, financial frauds, how to report your uh, issue or case regarding cybercrime. All such things are being included in this. Then there is Pan India Financial Literacy and Inclusion Survey. Now there was a survey that was conducted in 2017. So basically 5 union territories and 29 states were the part of this survey. Now this survey was conducted in order to ascertain, or we can say in order to determine what is the financial literacy level of the India. Now what were the main three components of this survey? Was financial knowledge, financial attitude, and financial behavior. Now the questions that were asked in the survey was based on the questions of OECD. Now OECD is a international organization. Now based on the, we can say, international organization standard, this survey was conducted. Now again, this is a good initiative that was conducted by the RBI and the government, and hence it is a part of initiative that was introduced in the financial literacy field. Then there is government commitment to financial inclusion. The Ministry of Finance also keeps on looking at the state, or we can say status of the financial literacy, and we can say this is also a part of financial literacy initiatives. So with this, we are done with the news. The first news is done. Let's come to the second news, which is regarding the, we can say, case study related to Induslnd Bank. So basically what happened, there was some problem with the Induslnd Bank. So they were doing some accounting error. There was some accounting error that were happening with this bank for last 5 to 7 years. So for past 5 to 7 years, they were dealing with such error. They they were not aware of such fact that this has to be done. This is whatever they are, how they are recording their accounts is not correct. Okay, so this was unintentional in nature, and they have also agreed the fact that yes, they have made some accounting error, and that is the reason they have hide a lot of losses, and which is very concerning in nature. A lot of loss is being hided by such bank, and that is the reason it is being highlighted all over the news. So basically what RBI has done, RBI has given some statement for the such bank, and we are going to read what are the statements that are given by such for such bank. So basically what happened, there were some concerns regarding the Induslnd Bank's financial health, and the bank remained capitalized adequately and stable despite such speculation, despite such losses, despite such speculation in their stock prices. RBI says that this bank is stable enough to take care of the upcoming crisis. Okay, in case there is any kind of stress situation in an upcoming period, this bank is stable enough to deal with such scenario. And with this, we are giving such messages to the depositors that whatever happened in the Induslnd Bank, it's not going to impact the depositors. So with this statement, they are ensuring the bank is still stable, and depositors can rely on such bank. Depositors can still trust on Induslnd Bank. Now we will read what was the problem with the Induslnd Bank. Okay. So what was the controversy? The controversy was there was some misreporting. So what happened? This bank invested in invested in forex derivatives. Now we all know what is forex derivative. Forex derivative is when you predict some movements of the currency of other currency, movements of other currency prices. With such predictions, you collect profit. If your predictions are correct regarding, say, this bank is predicting that the prices of dollars will fall in terms of rupee. Now, if this prediction is correct, they will earn profit on the same. If this prediction gets wrong, this bank will earn losses on the same. And these banks do enter in such forex derivatives in order to earn profit, in order to earn short-term capital gain. And that is the reason they are saying that this bank do not recognize all the losses related to such forex derivatives. They recognize such losses in their balance sheet. They recognized such losses in their balance sheet under assets, under asset section of the balance sheet. Instead, they should have recorded the same in the P&L. That means they must have to be recorded in the P&L instead of balance sheet. Now there was a accounting error. Why they were recording such, we can say, losses in the assets? Because they were predicting, they were hoping that these losses will turn into profit in upcoming period, and that is the reason they were keeping these losses as profit and not their losses. And that is the reason they recorded such things in their assets. And there was one more issue. There was one more issue wherein they were not recording their accounts on mark to market basis. Now what is mark to market basis? In mark to market basis, you keep on revising your assets or your derivatives, the revised value of your derivatives, and whatever losses you have earned or whatever profits you have earned through these derivatives. So you revise these new figures for these, we can say, assets or we can say derivatives. So this has to be done every quarter. Every quarter they used to revise such data. Now they were not doing such thing. They were following the traditional method of recording accounts, wherein no revision has been done to the figures of assets or liability, whatever the case is. And this was these two things, this M2M, MTM, and this accounting error was creating a lot of problem, and with this they were hiding a lot of losses. Hence, this was the whole case in this case. So the bank failed to hedge against their foreign exchange position. They were not able to hedge, or we can say they were not able to cover their losses that were happening through their foreign exchange positions, leading to a significant losses to their balance sheet. Now there was a misreporting. They have to be report such losses in P&L account, but they were reporting the same in the asset sides of the balance sheet, which is a wrong accounting. And they were also lacking behind the M2M accounting that has to be done on a quarterly basis. You have to revise your data on a quarterly basis. And this delay in detection was for last 5 to 7 years. So last 5 to 7 years, they were doing the same thing. And that is the reason there was a lot of concerns. There was a serious issue that was highlighting the risk in the management and how the regulators are oversighting such banks and what internal audits were doing at that point of time. So that is the reason. So what RBI did, RBI says that there is no need to worry for such banks, and we can build trust based on such facts that the bank have enough capital adequacy ratio. अब capital adequacy ratio क्या होता है? Capital adequacy ratio is capital to risk weight. अब ये जो ratio होता है, that compares your risk with your capital, and that has to be more than 11% to 12%. So we can say with this number 16.46%, the Induslnd bank have enough capital adequacy ratio, as per the regulatory requirement. If you talk about the provision coverage ratio क्या होता है? Bad loans के लिए जो हम provision create करते हैं वो भी enough होना चाहिए so that they can they have enough buffer in case the all bad loans turns into non-recoverable bad loans, and that is the reason this is also enough. This should be more than 70%, so they are holding 70.20%. We can say it is again stable in nature. And liquidity coverage ratio, next 30 days का क्या उन्हें होल्ड करना होता है? लिक्विडिटी होल्ड करनी होती है जो कि 100% से ज्यादा होनी चाहिए इन दिस केस. तो यहाँ पर वो 100% से ज्यादा ही है. And with this we can also say that RBI is stating that with these three key metrics we can say the bank is stable and depositors do not have to worry about the bank's stability. And with this we are saying that bank is stable and there is no risk to the depositors. रेटिंग एजेंसीज ने भी इन बैंक्स के ऊपर इस बैंक के ऊपर कुछ बोला है. दे आर सेइंग दैट इट इज स्ट्रांग इनफ, दे हैव स्ट्रांग प्रोविजन, दे हैव स्ट्रांग प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एंड दे हैव हेल्दी कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी विद देम. केयर रेटिंग्स कह रहे हैं दैट in the fourth quarter of financial year 25 they will record all the losses, और ये losses इतने major नहीं है that they can impact their credit worthiness, and with this we can say the bank is stable enough. I hope the case is clear to you. The case is clear to you. Okay, so here we are with the fourth news which says Moody's report, third news which says Moody's report on Indian banking system. तो basically Moody, which is a rating agency, उन्होंने Indian banking system, हमारे Indian banking system के बारे में कुछ चीजें कही हैं, and we are going to learn what they have said, what they have estimated. Okay, so basically this rating agency says that there is chances of 3% of increase in the NPA. NPA is a bad loan. It is not good for the banks, and they are saying that there is the estimation that there is an increase of 3% in bad loans in upcoming 12 to 18 months, which is not a good news for the banks. But they are saying the overall outlook of the bank is stable in nature. Now, why they are saying that there is a chances of increase in 3% of NPA in the Indian banking system? Because there is a slower economic growth. The economy is growing, but it is in a slower rate. इकोनॉमी ग्रो तो कर रही है पर बहुत ही स्लो रेट पर कर रही है, एंड दैट इज द रीजन वो कह रहे हैं इन्वेस्टमेंट भी शायद कम हो सकती है, लोगों के कंजप्शन भी कम हो सकते हैं, उनकी स्पेंडिंग्स भी कम हो सकती है, एंड दैट इज द रीजन दे आर सेइंग कि स्लोअर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ की वजह से एनपीए बढ़ सकते हैं और शायद वो हैम्पर कर सकते हैं उनकी लोन रिपेमेंट्स के पे भी. इसलिए वो कह रहे हैं द स्लोअर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ इज अ वी कैन से चैलेंज फॉर द बैंक्स. Then previous interest rate hikes and outstanding loans. Now they are saying अर्लियर जो लोन्स दिए गए हैं वो ज्यादा रेट पर दिए गए हैं. पहले 6.5% था, अब 6.25% कर दिया गया है रेपो रेट. अब जो पुराने लोन्स हैं जो 6.5 रेट्स पर चल रहे हैं दैट आर स्टिल आउटस्टैंडिंग इन सम ऑफ द बैंक्स, और वो अभी ज्यादा रेट पर चल रहे हैं, और यहाँ पर चांसेस है कि ज्यादा महंगे लोन डूबने का वो रहते हैं, चांसेस रहते हैं, एंड दैट इज द रीजन दे आर सेइंग कि आउटस्टैंडिंग जो लोन्स हैं जो अभी भी चल रहे हैं पुराने रेट्स पर, देयर इज सम रिस्क ascertain to that category of loans, because वो उनके चांसेस हैं कि वो डिफॉल्ट हो जाएं क्योंकि उन पर ज्यादा कॉस्ट है, हाउस होल्ड्स के ऊपर, कॉर्पोरेट्स के ऊपर, किसी भी तरह के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के ऊपर उस लोन से रिलेटेड ज्यादा बर्डन है. Then they shared some data. They said the overall NPO ratio जो है वो improve हुई थी from 7.3% in March 2024 to 2.6% by 2024. तो बेसिकली वी कैन से दैट देयर इज अ रिडक्शन इन द एनपीए. रिडक्शन तो हुआ है एनपीए में. नाउ आपको ये डाटा याद नहीं रखना है, दिस इज जस्ट फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट कि एनपीए इंप्रूव हुआ है, द एनपीए इंप्रूव्ड, बट देयर इज अगेन चांसेस ऑफ increase in such rates. We can say we are seeking more growth in such NPA, which is not good for the Indian banks. They have also estimated GDP estimations. They are estimating 6.5% for the financial year 26. Now how they are saying that the overall outlook of the bank is stable. ठीक है, वो साथ में ये भी बता रहे हैं कि एनपीए जो बैड लोन्स है वो बढ़ सकते हैं, और साथ में ये भी कह रहे हैं कि ओवरऑल आउटलुक जो है वो स्टेबल है. अब वो स्टेबल क्यों कह रहे हैं? देयर आर द रीजंस फॉर द सेम. व्हाई द आउटलुक फॉर द इंडियन बैंकिंग सेक्टर इज स्टेबल? बिकॉज देयर इज लिमिटेड एक्सपोजर टू द अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स. Now the unsecured loans that banks are holding are very limited in nature, because RBI also increased the risk weights in such category of loans, and that is the reason the banks have limited their exposure to such kind of loans. Then there is sufficient loan loss reserves. That means banks are keeping enough provisions with them regarding the bad loans. That means they have enough buffer with them to manage all kind of crises that may happen in the future. Then there is strong corporate loan quality. Then they are saying that banks that have given loans to the corporates, that corporates are performing well. Because they are performing well, there are chances that they will repay their loans in a timely basis, and there will be more and more credit discipline in that particular sector, or we can say in that particular loan category. So due to this strong corporate loan quality, the bank's performance is stable enough. If you talk about other favorable conditions regarding Indian banking sector is increased capex. Now capital expenditure is very good for the economy. That boosts the government, we can say that boosts the investment in the economy, that boosts the employment level in the economy, that also drives consumption, that also drives savings, and that is the reason it is helping Indian banking sector to be stable enough in the upcoming future. If we talk about the tax rate, we can say as per the recent budget, the tax rates has been also reduced, and there is less burden on the middle class. Now whosoever have given loans to such middle class section of the society, their loans will be we can say will be of a good quality. There are very less chances of default in that particular section. Here we are with the last news, which is the fourth news, which says digital payment growth for the financial year 18. So this is a 5-year data. This has been released by the Department of Financial Service, which falls under the Ministry of Finance, and they have released some data. They are saying that the digital payment transaction have grown. Okay, so there is a significant growth in such transaction, and that is all because of all the efforts that are being made by the government in order to promote such digital payment transaction in the economy. Now this is a chart that shows you how the growth have been made in terms of number of digital payments. So if we talk about the financial year 18, the number of digital payments in terms of crore were 2071 crore only. But if we talk about the latest financial year 24, it is 18,707 crore, which is a good number. So we can see there is a continuous growth in the digital payment transaction. And this has recorded a 39% of growth comparing it with the previous year financial year. 70% of the payment in this was related to the UPI. So we can say UPI is one of the payment method that has been used by the people of India mostly. If we talk about the UPI transaction, it was 91.52 crore only in financial year 18, but this has been increased to 13,116.47 crore, which is again a very good growth with a 57% of growth comparing it with the last year, we can say financial year 23. This topic says about the internationalization of the UPI. So our RBI also signed some contracts with international countries as well. They said they have contracted their UPI, the accessibility of UPI in other countries as well, such as UAE, Dubai, Singapore, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka. All such are the one that are we can say why the UPI is being so powerful in other countries and in India as well. Now I have highlighted some of the initiatives by the government in order to boost such digital payments. अब ये जो आपके initiatives हैं, again these are going to be very important. इसमें मैंने 7-8 initiatives जो हैं discuss किए हुए हैं, and you can highlight such in your descriptive answers as well. एक direct question भी पूछा जा सकता है, और you can simply highlight such things in your interview as well अगर पूछ लिया जाता है इससे related कोई question तो. ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट इज इंसेंटिव स्कीम फॉर द डिजिटल पेमेंट्स. अब इंसेंटिव स्कीम जो थी, दिस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट टू बूस्ट डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन इन रुपे डेबिट कार्ड एंड भीम यूपीआई. तो इन दो सिनेरियोज में, इन दो वी कैन से पेमेंट मेथड में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बूस्ट की जा रही थी ट्रांजैक्शन, डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस, ठीक है, इन फाइनेंशियल ईयर 21-22 टू प्रमोट डिजिटल पेमेंट्स। इसमें क्या किया जा रहा था, बैंक्स को फाइनेंशियली इंसेंटिव दिए जा रहे थे, फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव दिए जा रहे थे टू बूस्ट और प्रमोट द डिजिटल पेमेंट्स थ्रू दीज मोड्स, ठीक है। तो they were giving financial incentives to the banks and the service providers so that more and more rural businesses and more small merchants are using these payments methods. And as per the data, it says that the number of banks that were promoting such things have increased from 2016 to 572 in financial year 24, which is again a very important data for you all to learn. Remember this data. Then there is one more initiative named as DigiDhan mission. Now this was a mission to promote the digital payment, और agenda क्या था, to reduce the dependency on cash and make the digital payment more and more accessible to everyone related to rural and underserved people. This was again initiated by the government. Then there is incentive scheme for the banks. Now this was a portal in which the government can track financial incentives given to banks and how banks are performing in terms of promoting such digital payments. So both things are being tracked using this portal. For fraud prevention and cyber security measures, अब हमें डिजिटल पेमेंट तो चाहिए बट उसके साथ वी नीड अ बैलेंस, क्योंकि इनोवेशन के साथ साथ साइबर सिक्योरिटी और साइबर थ्रेट जैसे जो उनसे रिस्क होते हैं वो भी इंक्रीज हो जाते हैं. सो वी विल कॉल दिस फ्रॉड प्रिवेंशन मेजर्स एंड साइबर सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स एज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस डिजिटल पेमेंट इनिशिएटिव दैट हैज बीन टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट, ठीक है. तो आरबीआई का वी ऑल नो, आरबीआई ने क्या इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, म्यूल हंटर एआई. That means with the use of artificial intelligence, they are detecting the frauds based on the transaction that are happening in the banks. So they will get early signs, early warning signs regarding suspected transactions in advance, so that they can track or they can highlight such financial fraudulent transactions in the ecosystem, in the digital payment ecosystem. Then there is awareness campaign as well related to SMS alerts, radio broadcast to educate users about the safe digital transactions. आजकल जो हम calls शुरू होने से पहले जो हमें एक tagline आती है कि सावधान रहें for the fraudulent transactions. So it is also a part of, we can say, boosting digital payments while also ensuring preventing frauds in the digital payment ecosystem. Then there is cyber crime reporting, एक ऐसा portal जहाँ पर one can report their cases related to cyber crime, and they can also use this helpline number for the immediate assistance. So this is also a good initiative. Then there is Chakshu facility. This is a facility wherein one can report whatever report their scams related to calls, SMS, WhatsApp messages, so that this can enhance the consumer protection and fraud detection in the safer digital platform. Then there is lastly, we have digital intelligence platform. In this platform, the digital intelligence platform is there to track and prevent the fraudulent communication that are happening in the telecommunication area. Okay, so with this, we are done with today's news. We are going to discuss the questions based on these news. So the first question says Moody's has maintained a stable outlook for the Indian banking sector, indicating that banks are fundamentally strong and well prepared to manage risk. According to the Moody's, India's real GDP expected to grow above dash. So you have to fill the estimated GDP. Yes, 6.5 is the right answer. Digital payment in India have experienced a significant growth driven by government initiative and stakeholder collaboration. The total digital payment transactions volume increased from 2071 crore to dash. So what is the right, we can say, number of transactions that has happened in financial year 24? Right, 18,737. Right, this is the right answer. What was the issue in the Induslnd Bank financial misreporting that led to regulatory scrutiny in the March 2025? So what was the problem related to such bank? Right. B is the right answer, which says the bank failed to hedge against the forex derivatives. उनके जो predictions थे वो सही नहीं थे और उन्होंने hedge भी नहीं किए थे अपने losses को, and that is the reason उनकी misreporting भी थी, and that was the main two issues. Last question. The RBI launches financial literacy campaigns under NSFE to promote the financial awareness and inclusion. Which of the following organization is primarily responsible for formulating the NSFE in India? तो 5 year जो plan था वो RBI के साथ किसने बनाया था? Which organization? Right. NCFE, that is National Center for Financial Education, is the right answer for this question. So with this, we are done with the today's class. Tell me in case you have any query related to the session, related to the today's, we can say topics, you can tell me. Sapphire उन्होंने hedging की नहीं थी, that is the reason it led to losses. Okay, so you have general queries related to current affairs and government schemes. You don't have any query related to the today's topics. So I think we can end our session, right? And keep on preparing for the current affairs. Okay, goodbye. Best of luck for your examination.